Thank you. Welcome to the meeting of Governance, Resources and Strategy Committee. So can I please remind you that when speaking into your microphone, you need to wait until you see yourself on the screen so the live feed can pick up your comments. If you speak before your image is projected, those listening on the live feed will not hear anything you say. Agenda item 1, we have apologies and opening announcements. So we have an apology from Councillor Lavery, Councillor McConville Walker and Councillor Duffy. If we have any more from the floor. Councillor Flaherty.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, an apology, please, for Alderman Glenbar.
Thank you. Councillor Flaherty, and there's no more hands, so we'll move to declarations of interest, agenda item 2, but I'm happy to take them as we go also. I see no lights on, so we'll move on. Thank you. So we have agenda item 3, we have our business plans, the end of year 2023-24 progress, and I'll bring in Charlene for this one. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, members. This item is an update on our progress at year end against business plans which were approved by this committee in June 2023. The report covers 8 corporate departments, 7 of which sit within the Chief Executive and Deputy Chief Executive departments, and Estates Asset Management, which is in the Regulatory Services, Facilities and Assets Directorate. You will see within the paper and the associated appendices that there is a breakdown of progress against all measures agreed for each of the departments. Overall, we have delivered on a wide range of corporate priorities, and it is worthy of note that whilst we have achieved 84% of all of the Chief Executive and Deputy Chief Executive department targets, we've only highlighted a sample of our achievements in the report. So I want to take the opportunity to recognise the hard work and the commitment of officers across these departments and recognise the huge programme of work that has been delivered over the past year. The key role of these corporate departments is to oversee human resources, finance, risk, legal and compliance functions in order to promote Council's overall goals. So really, members, the work that goes in every day is about keeping Council safe. It is about documenting and evidencing that we are meeting our many obligations. So I thank all of our teams for doing such a wonderful job in that regard. Across the Chief Executive and Deputy Chief Executive departments, there was an overall achievement of 84% of measures. We have reviewed those areas which were amber and red at the year end and have identified the key issues that impacted on any outstanding areas of delivery. So firstly, there were several measures which were slightly delayed. So whilst not achieved at the end of March, they rolled into the start of Q1 this year and have now been closed off. Those include measures such as the corporate plan development and the internal review of registration services. Other key areas were impacted on as a result of staff capacity, either as a result of sickness absence or difficulty in filling key roles, particularly in HR and OD and in strategy and performance. So there were roles like business continuity and customer care that you will see impacted on a couple of the measures. And the recruitment process is now well underway to have those roles filled. At the year end, sickness and absence in the Chief Executive and the HR departments were above the 16-day target. However, you will be aware from previous reports on this that in small departments, even if one member of staff is off long term, it contributes to a high average lost days across the team. Capacity issues also impacted on improvements in information governance. So we are seeing some longer response times in information governance, such as for FOIs and SARS requests. And members, I'm happy to take any questions, but I am going to hand over to Caroline Leonard to pick up on the Estates and Asset Management business plan as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. As a newly appointed member into this position, I wish to also echo Charlene's tribute and thanks to Mark and previously Jonathan and colleagues for the tremendous effort that has been made in achieving 88% of their business plan as green and with 12% amber. There's a phenomenal body of work underpinning those results. There have been good progress during the year on the implementation of recommendations from the asset management plan. There have been estates rationalisations, options generated in support of the MSW programme of works. With those items that are amber, largely an issue of timing, or others being in recognition of support of other directorates who may not be quite ready yet to move forward with their plans. So happy to take any questions on the detail of estates and asset management, but again, would just want to reiterate my thanks to all of the team for their hard work in achieving this result for the end of last financial year.
Thank you, Charlene. Caroline, members, this is an item for noting, so if there's no questions, I'm happy to move on. Thank you. So we'll move on to agenda item 4. We have a number of decision items, so I'll pass you over to Martina for 4.1 on the quarterly report on policies.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, members. This is a regular quarterly report on policies which are for your approval. The particular policies are set out there in the detail of the report and have already been through the relevant service committee, environmental services, I believe, in this case. In relation to these policies, there have been any significant changes and are of a technical nature. So we are recommending members' approval of these policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. Members, there's no lights on, so this is a decision item, so I'll ask for a proposer and seconder. Proposed by Councillor Donnelly and seconded by Councillor McLennan. Thank you. We can move on to item 4.2, again to Martina, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So yes, 4.2 is a draft disability action plan, and members will note that there has been a 12-week public consultation exercise carried out in relation to the draft policy, or sorry, the draft plan, action plan. Also included within your papers is a note of the consultation report and also feedback in relation to what we're going to do in relation to some of the comments that were received as a result of the consultation exercise, and also an easy read copy of the draft disability action plan. Happy to take any questions, Chair. Otherwise it's for a decision item for approval. Thanks.
Thank you, Martina. And I think it was very fitting that the draft disability action plan had the easy read copy. So you and your team have to be commended for that. So we'll bring in Councillor Flaherty.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Look, I'm more than happy to propose this, but can I just ask one question? It says there, you had there was a 12-week consultation. There was 49 people and organisations responded. How do you feel that is as an uptake, you know, for respondees? Is that usual, or was it bigger groups, if you know what I mean, or more sort of a corporate replies rather than individual, say, parents or carers or people themselves?
Thank you, Councillor Flaherty, for the question. Yes, you're quite right in that there were less individual responses in relation to this, and the responses were maybe individually made, but as a collect, you know, they were associated with a community group or whatnot. And I suppose that's how we try and do our outreach in relation to Section 75 groups that are known, and other community groups that represent people with a disability. I'm not exactly sure, I don't have the detail in terms of how this consultation response numbers wise went in relation to this for this year, as opposed to whenever it was held 3-4 years ago for the last disability action plan. But certainly in line with our consultation policy, we use all avenues to try and promote this. We provided or offered face-to-face meetings, focus group meetings, and obviously used all our social media as well to try and promote the actual consultation exercise itself.
Thank you, Martina. Councillor Flaherty, are you content, or would you like to come back in? Yeah.
It's okay, Chair, if you just... Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Martina, for that. You know, most of us will know I'm always singing the praises of some of the most of the the work that we do and the improvement that I have seen even in the 8 years I'm here. One sort of worry I do have, I suppose, is there's a lot of reference to the work that we do in conjunction with the Southern Trust, for example. And they've been very good over the years. They fund All Stars, etc. Now, I'm already aware that we're already facing some cuts from the Southern Trust for these activities in this borough. Can someone let me know, if possible, maybe not tonight, that we are okay with our funding so far from the Southern Trust? Because, as I said before in this chamber, it is these vulnerable children and parents and people that's the respite are going to be hit by this. I'm already seeing it here in the borough, and I certainly don't want for 1 second to think that it would affect any of our activities over the summer months.
Thank you, Councillor Flaherty. Martina, is that something you'd be willing to bring back? Yeah, thank you. Members, Councillor Flaherty has proposed that I would need a seconder for this. Seconded by Councillor Savage, and all agreed. Thank you. So that brings us to item 4.3. It's another decision item on the draft audit of inequalities and draft equality action plan 24 to 27. So Martina, again, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So similarly, yes, there was this is another action plan that was developed at the same time as the disability action plan, and also was subject to similar period of public consultation. So again, the detail of the information that came back and what it is that we're hoping to do as a result of that is detailed within the report, and has resulted in this final draft action plan. So again, it's for members' approval, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Martina. Members with no lights on, so it's a decision item again. So unless there's no questions, any questions, we'll take a proposer and seconder. Proposed by Councillor Mackel. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor McLennan. Thanks a million. So members, again, our last decision item in this section, 4.4, draft performance improvement plan 24-25. So again, Martina, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So members will recall that the committee did approve a draft set of performance improvement objectives to go out for a period of public consultation, which ended on the 21st of May. And this, we have taken the responses and now developed the consultation report that's included in the papers, and also the draft performance improvement plan itself, which contains details on the performance improvement objectives. And again, it's for members' approval. And there's a reporting mechanism obviously goes along with this as well. Then you'll be getting updates in relation to how we've developed in relation to the performance improvement plan objectives and how they're being progressed at 6 months, and then at year end again in the annual self-assessment report. So happy to take any questions, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. Again, I have no lights on, members, so if we're happy to have a proposer and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mackel. The seconder, members. Thank you, Councillor Herr. All agreed. Thank you. So we have an information item at 4.5. I'm happy to note unless there's any questions on that one. Thank you, members. So we'll move on to agenda item 5. Report. We have a decision item, consultation documents from external organisations. So I'll pass you over to Elaine for this one. Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, members. Yes, members, this is our regular monthly consultation documents from external organisations. So as always, attached as Appendix 1 is the schedule of consultations for this month. Members are proposing that you would approve those recommendations, but happy to take any comments there may be. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Members, we have no lights on for any questions. Again, it's a decision item, so if I could ask for a proposer and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mackel proposed and seconded. Thank you, Councillor Mitry. We're all agreed. We have an information item at 5.2, happy to note, but if anyone has any questions. Okay, thank you, members. So we have an item of correspondence in 6.1, which is an email dated 25th of April from PSNI about modern slavery and human trafficking. So I'll pass you over to Martina to speak on this.
Thank you, Chair. Members, you'll recall that it was a request of this committee that we ask the relevant unit in PSNI to come and speak to members in relation to what has been going on and the work that they've been doing in relation to modern slavery and human trafficking in the borough. But unfortunately, we've received this email correspondence back to say that just at the moment they don't have the capacity to do so. However, it is something that we will still pursue and hopefully in a number of months that we may be in a position to do so. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Martina. Members with no questions, so I'm happy to move on and move into committee. So can I have a proposer and seconder to move into committee? Proposed by Councillor Hare, seconded by Councillor McLennan. Thank you. So members and online viewers, in accordance with Schedule 6 of the Local Government Act, we will now be moving into a confidential session of the council. This means that we will be turning off the public feed of the meeting. This will be returned when the meeting is restarted. So can I ask ICT officers to please turn off the feed and confirm with me when the confidential section of this meeting can proceed? Thank you, members, and can I have a proposer and seconder to agree the recommendations made in committee? Proposed by councillor O'Dowd. Seconded by councillor Hare, thank you. Members, we don't have any other AOB, so that brings our meeting to an end this evening. Thank you very much.